Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please. Kiss.
Greetings and salutations. This is Cage's Kiss, the ultimate Cage podcast, where we discuss each of the National Treasure's cinematic masterpieces and his life. We also try to glean whatever kernels of wisdom we can from his character that week. My name is Linda, but this week I'm a distrustful cheese.
And I'm Kristen, and you can call me Lemon with a splash of Tabasco.
And I am Donnie, our Sergeant Stadenko.
And I am Adrian, and I hope you're looking to take out a corny motherfucker like yourself and not some guy like me.
Yes, today we have finally have an Elijah Wood joint all up in here. It is The Trust.
Yay!
So I guess we should summarize the movie.
Well,
yeah, it's CSI the movie Las Vegas Nights, where Elijah Wood is disinterested crime scene investigator for the police, who enjoys his reefer and the prostitutes, and Nicolas Cage has an unfortunate mustache and is really fired up about various things, including amping up the whole CSI program, which his superiors are not interested in.
Yeah,
Zoom
he
in
does
on
have a
that
porn
one.
stash.
He's got the porn stash. Yeah, and
He kind of looks like Big Daddy. His
Yeah,
Big Daddy character.
Oh yeah, only I like this movie better.
Only
than that movie,
not.
Yeah.
I was thinking he had kind of a Ned Flanders vibe myself.
Yeah.
Yes!
No,
Now that you mention it.
He's a real square loser, and he's the one who refers
Yeah.
to Elijah Wood smoking reefer. Like, who the fuck says reefer?
I'm going to now.
Yeah, but they wind up
The
stumbling
devil's
across
weed.
some shit for somebody that they were on an arrest for, and then they wind up just discovering that these drug lords have the stash and they're gonna heist it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just by happenstance. Like, that's a nice car. It reminds me of Gone in 60 Seconds. And it's like, they hide the cocaine inside the car's engine.
That's evidence.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Which ties in with the movie I was watching before we started recording. I was watching Phantasm 4, where the guy figures out that he can make those killer chrome balls out of the engine of his car and take out the tall man. Yeah. It's
And
totally
they're
culturally
all,
relevant.
older.
Yes.
They are.
Much
Yeah,
more older.
they're older except for the resurfaced footage from the 1979 original that they incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
But so this movie, The Trust, is from March 13th of 2016. I could not find a reported budget. In the United States, it only got released to DirecTV and on demand, and of course streaming. It went to theaters abroad, like all the recent Cage movies, and earned a whopping $321,000.
Whoa.
Hot damn.
It did its best business in Turkey, of all places, where it ran for 2 weeks. It actually opened at number 3. Guys, number 3 behind World of Warcraft, the movie, and X-Men Apocalypse.
That
And
tells
opening
you
at number
all you need
3
to know about Turkey, right?
Jesus.
But that's the highest opening we have seen since The Croods in any country for a Cage movie.
Yeah, I was going to
So
say,
thi-
and a
Wow.
lot of these
So
recently
just-
been doing well.
just in
over
terms
the Middle
of-
East.
Rank for Cage movies, this is the highest movie he's scored with in 3 years' time,
Yeah.
which is
Okay.
it's a little sad and a little funny. Yeah, it's like it's way better than the ones that open at like number 73 and number 69 that we've done not too long ago.
You did good, buddy.
He said 69.
Kristen knows what I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
Are you referring to food somehow being like sex?
They're talking
I
about
have
when you're
to-
eating your alphabet cereal, and you got some of those letters mixed in the numbers. And
Oh yeah,
they
sometimes it
turn
spells
around.
boobs.
I have to give a shout out to Talkin Shiz because they just introduced me to the joke this week of 88's better because you get 8 twice.
Oh my god.
Love you, Shiz. It's the little things in life, you guys.
Anyway, The Trust got directed by Benjamin and Alex Brewer, and I think they're brothers, but there's no Wikipedia article on them, and IMDb doesn't want to tell me things about them because they're dicks. But they did some music videos together, including a Bieber video.
Which one? It doesn't matter.
It's a Bieber video.
Like, I'm not gonna know any
It's
of them.
it's like all those other videos these days where it's somebody featuring somebody else. It's like, wow, you both suck. You're just compounding it now. Fuck you both. I don't want to hear that.
Shit on shit.
Yeah. It's a shit sandwich on shit bread with shit sauce. But
In
on
the
the side.
show on Netflix, Big Mouth, one of them has a pit bull terrier named Pitbull featuring Ludacris.
Jesus.
It just makes me think of that.
Well, of the two here, Benjamin did a movie previously. He did a $15,000 indie movie called Beneath Contempt about a guy having grief about accidentally killing a car full of his friends.
Wow.
It's not widely seen.
I
In fact,
mean-
on IMDb, it only had 27 votes, so it basically doesn't exist.
Oh,
Huh.
Yeah,
But
that's sad.
yet it does.
and yet it does. Yeah, I mean, like, you know, for what is essentially a first feature, you know, like it was a really solid movie.
Yeah, I liked it.
I
Um,
hated
Pleasantly
it.
surprised.
Oh,
It
John
wasn't amazing,
Waldo.
but it was entertaining.
Yeah.
And
It had the triumphant
Yeah.
return of Elijah Wood, who we mentioned before when we did Grand Piano with the Cusack, because we had a Cusack
Yeah.
episode. If you were on our Patreon, you'd know all about that.
I fucking love Elijah Wood, and honestly, I felt that
I love him a lot
he
more
was
now.
key to this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Really?
love him a lot more these days.
Yes. Yes,
Really?
because like
Um,
he has so much stage and like screen presence
Really?
that like he's the
what-
only one who seems
did he
to
disappear
be
to
acting
you,
in this
Donnie?
movie.
Was he invisible?
I want to know how he was key to this.
He
if
was
we're
the
gonna
star of
suck
The
on-
Good
if we're
Son,
gonna suck
I'll
his
have
dick
you-
off, I want to know why we're fondling the balls. Because
Okay,
I don't
first
see
of
a
all,
reason to
I
go
am
for the
totally
balls.
okay with sucking your dick off, Elijah, if you're listening. Take one for the team.
Because this is
But-
this is the adorable story of filthy Vegas with two police losers who haplessly commit a heist and then it all gets fucked up.
Mhm.
But even that, it's
But I
just
felt that, like-
half-heartedly put out there that they're going to do a heist.
I
Right,
kind of
I-
agree
look,
there,
it-
but
I mean, the movie
Yeah.
is not the
Mhm.
most complete.
No.
I would not call it a
No.
perfect film, but it is a breath of fucking fresh air for what we've.
Yes.
It is a breath. That's why
Absolutely.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
was
like-
enjoying parts of it as it grew, but it still was just so much that seemed cut out of it. Because it goes from an honest policeman would notice that somebody paid
Mhm.
$20,000 to get this guy out and paid in cash. So let's go investigate this. It's like, okay, it's the plot is thickening. This is going to lead somewhere.
Well,
And Cage just starts becoming unhinged, which actually, this is
Yeah.
new for me. I enjoyed his character more because of the fact he just started going on a killing spree. Like you
yeah,
can
like
see
the part
he
where he
started losing
illegally
his
buys the
shit.
gun and he just kills the guy.
Yeah,
I
but
think
it's like
that's
the only.
it, though.
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I think they're like hinting that he there's more to him than Elijah Wood sees.
Yeah.
Because like he asks him, "How did you know that there was this closet
Right,
full of
right,
guns
right,
and
right.
stuff?" And he was saying, "How did you know about this room?" And he never answers that. And he just like he like with no thought, no hesitation at all, he kills that gun trader.
I think
Yeah.
I think
So,
this
I
is all
mean-
tied up in the character's enthusiasm, right? Because he's really
Yeah.
he's
Mhm.
really fired up about making his job better at the beginning, right? Like you
Mhm.
see him, he's talking about the
Yeah.
ashtray being interesting and how many prints you could get, and he's proposing to his boss actually improving the system. Like he's really fucking fired up for his
Yeah.
job,
Yeah.
right? And I think
His
the
boss
fact,
wants him to go get a
Look at a
tractor.
tractor.
for
right?
his-
Yeah, no, and his boss is
Which-
just like, get this shit for my son-in-law at auction, and I think that's like his enthusiasm needed some place to go, and I
Yeah,
think
that's
he
the
latches
thing,
on
yeah.
Elijah Wood, and he latches onto these details, and Elijah Wood
Mhm.
misunderstands it. Because I think
Yeah.
the idea is that Cage's
Oh.
character really does mean what he says he means, where he thinks he can get the $1 million and they'll run away to the Bahamas and it'll be awesome.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah,
and they'll be
yeah.
friends or butt buddies or whatever. And Elijah Wood is freaked out because it's all going that way really quick.
Yeah, but
and,
that's
like, all
the
of a
thing that
sudden they're
got me
shooting
about it
people.
too. It's like it would make sense in a way, like you had said, you like this because you love movies that have to deal with losers that get to be the underdog and do their thing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
it's like, to me,
Or
it's
just
like
keep
when
losing.
you're showing the opening, which begins with Elijah Wood getting banged by a blonde with a a mole on the underside of her boob, which he has to focus on
Which
because
is a
he's getting
close-up
no
of it,
pleasure from this.
Yeah, no,
It's
you know,
like you have a distinct contrast between the two characters as they're getting ready and doing their job. And you
Right.
can tell Elijah Wood is just dead to the world. He just hasn't been told
Right.
he's dead yet.
right.
And,
He's not stupid, but he cares about
yeah,
nothing. He
but
feels
it's like
nothing.
as far
Yeah.
as Cage goes, it reminded me kind of Michael Keaton in The Founder, where it's like he knows this sucks, but he's going to go with this 100% of enthusiasm, and he's just going to carry on and do his job. So you have two different kind of people here, but I never got from any of them that they were losers, except for Elijah Wood just, stepping in
Well, the
cat
thing
shit,
is-
using his girlfriend's...
also-
Well, think of
he-
this
'cause
though,
it-
too. Like, there's the there's the
Go
part
ahead.
where Elijah Wood goes back
Well,
over to Cage's house, and Cage's father answers the door, and he's like, "Oh, your friend's here."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Played by Jerry
Not one of your
Lewis.
friends. Yeah,
Surprise!
his dad. This is basically the last Jerry Lewis movie. I think
Mhm.
Max Rose had been completed before, but was released afterwards.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
if you don't know who Jerry Lewis is, this is more or less his Plan 9 from outer space here, since he's in it for basically less than a minute.
Yeah.
But if you don't know who Jerry Lewis is,
Kristen, what were you saying?
Well, no, I
Yeah.
was gonna say it looks like okay. So I think it was his wife because if you look at here we're already jumping to the end. I'm sorry.
Yes, yeah.
I think his wife has left him. He's got basically
Mhm.
nothing going for him. He sniffs
Yeah.
the sweater like, "Oh, I miss her so much, but let me use it to clean up cat shit."
Yeah.
You know, it's I think
Yeah.
that's kind of like towards the end it kind of switches like what am I trying to say? It switches like who's the loser and who's the
Kind
hero
of, yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's from Cage, I got more of a sense of desperation.
Mhm.
But what kind of got me
Mhm.
and why I felt the movie just kept switching tones is when they started introducing people and how Elijah Wood was with him, which before we get in this, I just got to say, like, because we were all laughing about this, because we all laughed when we saw it, was Elijah Wood putting down 2 20s and a 10 to pay her and then taking the 10 back. It's like, nah, it's not worth 50. I'll put 40
wasn't
down
fair,
on this.
no.
It's like that ass wasn't worth it. So no. But what got me is he came off as more, I have this job to do. I kind of sucks. I'm not fond of it, but this is the job I'm going to do. I don't want to do this shit for you. And he
He's
even
more
gave
like
Cage,
apathetic.
yeah, it's like he gave Cage shit for. I was like, I don't want to go and spend my sick leave going undercover for you, trailing this guy.
Mhm.
And even when Nick Cage is trying to be jokey, like, hey, look at me, I'm gonna be in your face and everyone else is, and let them know I'm a cop talking to you. He's like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? This is bullshit. I don't want to be a part of this. It honestly came off more like they were trying to set up that Elijah Wood was the only one who had a moral compass in what they were doing.
Yeah.
The further out there Cage got, and the more he's committed to, this is a change he's made. He's now decided, if I'm going to go in this, I'm going balls deep and whole hog. I'm just going to go completely gangster on this shit. And that's why I thought even when they,
Right.
like, even when Elijah leaves and Cage ends up shooting the Irish gun dealer, and then he tells him, oh, hey, he lunged at me, made up a story for him.
Mhm.
It's still kind of left into your interpretation. Maybe he did make it up. Maybe he did attack him.
Yeah, there are some questions unanswered here, but I
But
think
it's still one of those that Elijah
think-
Wood still then is kind of put in as the guy who has something of a moral going on with
Yeah.
this, where he's like, oh, okay, let's just stick to
I
the
think
plan
bouncing
here.
off
it
of
slightly
that.
because I don't think it's strictly immoral. What I think it is like, look, Cage is solitary, right? He lives with his dad,
Yeah.
right? Whereas
Yeah.
Elijah Wood will go for the hose, like you know,
Yeah.
because he's paying for it. Their hose.
Yeah.
And at the end,
Well-
he winds up they have the woman in the apartment tied up to the sink in the bathroom the whole time.
Yeah.
They don't kill her, but like, and he follows that, and he's like, oh, like it's a woman, I gotta let her make a phone call. Oh well, I'll help her down the stairs. Like never just shoots her, et cetera,
Yeah.
et cetera. And so I think that's more of a
Mhm.
noir thing right there, where it's like where he gives in to the weakness for a woman, which is like apparently the only thing that moves him at all, and it winds
Yeah.
up killing him.
Well,
You know?
well, that's the thing that still got me. I don't know if I would say that so much as, again, if it's somebody with morals in this, it's like, I want to
Mhm.
do good at this. I know this is shady. I agreed to it, but I can't go through with it. Yeah, he's going to be the one to say, you know what? I know we're supposed to be gangster on this, but fuck it. You have a family. Okay, fine. Go ahead. Call your family.
Right.
It's like, it's a
The way
choice.
that
Yeah,
I
bites him in the ass, but
Yeah. Well, the way I saw it was that, like, it's two separate characters that, like, they have two different reactions to the becoming jaded and bored with their jobs, and like they're in a place where they can't do anything with their jobs.
Yeah.
And it's not going the way they want it to, and neither is their life. But then I feel like there's a theme of trust throughout the whole movie, because obviously he's going to have trust issues because they show the wedding ring. So it wasn't just his girlfriend, like Kristen was saying, his wife left him.
Yeah.
And he's like obviously missing her, but then at the same time he's just kind of like, fuck it, this is life.
Can I bring something up?
And
though?
then
sorry, there was more to that though.
But he also, like, I feel like the thing is he puts his trust in the wrong person,
Right.
and in the wrong the whole entire wrong issue, because like it takes him a while, but then finally he's like, okay, yeah, I trust Cage's character. We're gonna do this heist, and cool. But then he starts having his doubts about him, and he trusts the lady that they've got chained to the toilet, and he says like, okay, well, she says, oh, I want to make a call to my ex so he gets my son. And spoiler, it's not her ex, or if it is, it's
It was a pretty good one-shot stunt there too, by the way, after Elijah Wood gets shot.
Yes.
In the head.
But then like he finds out later that, I mean, we find out that Cage really should have trusted Cage. That, like Donnie was saying, he was a man of his word,
Well, I'd like to bring
and
up two
they were going to
things,
go
though,
off.
like specifically about Cage's character. In that one, is that if anybody who's been in a workplace with like a lot of people who are like there every day, like, and it's a regular thing, like you know, because this is a job thing. This initially. Like Cage represents basically like the worst type of person that you'd have for a coworker. Essentially, because it's because there's what I feel is the healthy attitude. It's like, well, this shit's a job, you know, which has always been my attitude. It's like, I'm fucking here to earn money. Fuck y'all and what you care about. Whereas Cage is the one where like he has to become emotionally invested in it.
Right.
And later on when he's off the rails, as you say, it's an extension of the same emotional investment because he's killing people he believes are criminals.
Yeah.
And like stealing from criminals, he considers it part of the same thing. So in his view, he hasn't fallen at all. Like this is the same people who wind up gossiping and trying to get other people fired.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Well, that's why I agree with you. Go ahead, Kristen.
No, I just said good point.
It's I agree with what you're saying, because like working in retail as well and working the market,
especially retail,
it's like it's like working when I did for Safeway, as long as I did, we had a shitty boss that you really had to spend a year before he would actually talk to you like a human being. And once he did, it's like the guy was cool, but with all the people you work with, it's like you really did go there every day, like looking at your schedule, like, okay, these are going to be the good days because this is going to be the day I can be with this guy. And even though they're kind of a dick, they're a dick I can actually have fun with and laugh with.
Yeah, there's a whole dick scale there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like you both are hating your job, but at least, you know, this guy is someone that you can look forward to knowing the day is going to go fine because at least they're there and you can bullshit. Everything else is just going to suck horribly. But as soon as that person's gone or starts talking about their problems, you're like, okay, yeah, we're both here for the same reason. And if you need help, sure, fuck it, I'll help you out. It's like things like that do happen. It's like, yeah, you can, but to me, it's like what was happening in this movie in relation to that. I kind of feel if they had done a bit more with the two of them, instead of giving us even though I loved it, instead of giving us the Cage montage of him going and working in the hotel.
He's watching the drug dealer guy, and he's holding the tray, and then he just fumbles the tray, and drops the burger and everything, and the food looked really fucking good. Then he runs to the ashtray where the guy took the thing he threw away. It's like, incriminating details.
Yes.
He like just scribbled some shitty raps.
But my favorite part of that whole entire thing is when he's telling a story to these people in the middle of this room. Yeah, and he starts punching the air like, like 3 times he gets up and does this.
I want to hear that story.
And it's all
I
tied
did
in.
too.
It's all
Me too.
tied in with the stash though, and like because he's this pitiful cop type.
Yeah,
You can tell he wants to be a detective or a patrolman, but he's a CSI.
It kind
And
of.
I love in the beginning with that silly scene where he's trying to talk to his superior about
And then,
improving
it's like,
the
well, did you ask
system.
Mom? You know, he just keeps getting referred back. You should really talk to the
behind them
commander.
the whole time. The perp,
Yeah, the
is,
perp's getting away
climbing
right
over
behind
the
him in the
fence
shot.
and he's
Not
getting
doing
away.
anything.
And his superior doesn't even notice until the other cops are on top of him. He's like, what the fuck?
And they're just talking, and
He's talking
I want to get my
well, I need you to
son-in-law
get
a
this
The
right.
fucking John Deere for his goddamn son-in-law. Like not presenting at auction. It's like super not on the up and up there.
Which, going to that
but-
scene and the rest of the movie, there was some moments. I got to give a shout out to Ethan Suplee.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
that's
I was
exactly
I
who I was going
fucking
to talk
love
about.
that
From
guy
the better
so
Kevin Smith
much.
movies.
Yes.
For it, or
Yeah,
Yes.
Ethan Suplee there plays the unhinged cop who likes
Detective.
to play Russian roulette with people. He's like, "Oh, do you want to flip for it?" And he like
Flip for it,
pulls the
that was
trigger,
it.
and Elijah Wood's like, "Fuck!" And then he reveals he's on the bullet and flips him off.
Ethan Suplee, you may know as Randy in My Name is Earl, the brother character,
Yes.
who has what is it? He collects smells.
He was also in one of the worst movies ever made. It's not a smear on him, but he was in one of the worst fucking movies ever to go.
I know what you're gonna say.
Do you really know what I'm gonna say?
I think so.
I want you to guess.
Butterfly effect.
Yes.
Yes.
You are so cool. You belong here.
Oh.
Yes, the butterfly
yes.
effect, which is somehow worse than its straight-to-video sequels. Oh man, yeah.
But he was also as the guy trying to see the sailboat in the Magic Eye and Mallrats.
Yeah, no, he was in the good Kevin Smith movies, the ones you'd see on
Yes.
purpose. Yeah.
Yes. And he was in 2 episodes of Willard with Elijah Wood.
Mhm.
But I found out that his first role was in a Tales from the Crypt episode,
yes.
Operation Friendship, where he played Jamie in 1994.
Operation
And,
Friendship. That sounds extra special.
And apparently, I don't know if you would know about this, Kristen, but I never watched it. He was also in many episodes of Boy Meets World.
Yes, he
I
was.
saw that, and I was a little weirded out by that.
He was a bully. Yeah, he was a bully.
But we got another
Oh.
familiar face in this one. We got fucking Stephen Williams from PM Entertainment's LA Heat and Jason Goes to Hell the Final Friday. And Missing in Action 2. Yeah, he's the cop who Elijah Wood gets to go away, claiming they're doing an undercover operation.
Nice.
And the woman was Sky Ferreira, who's supposed to be some kind of singer, or she was.
Yeah, she
She was in an
she
Eli
was,
Roth movie, Superstar.
Oh, God.
But she's apparently like primarily a singer, if I say
Singer.
it. But
Singer
she
sounds
also
better.
played a singer, and she played Ella in an episode of Twin Peaks: The Revival.
She's a singular singer.
and
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, she's a singer. And she also performed in the Music of David Lynch benefit concert in 2015. It's a
Floating
TV
in
special.
this darkness.
Also, she shares a birthday with our dad next Wednesday on July 8th. So happy birthday, Sky.
Do you think our listeners know who Jerry Lewis is?
No.
I hope so.
They better.
He was Dean Martin's goofy pal from the mid 40s to the mid 50s. Come on, he was half of Martin and Lewis.
Lady.
Did
And he's
anyone
actually,
else feel like the comedy in this was kind of off-putting?
I liked
I
it.
loved it.
You didn't get that
Because
quirk
it was
kind of
like-
Coen Brothers feeling from it.
Not especially. It just
No?
felt like it was appropriate toward when they found out about the place and he showed him the homeless guy's dick. But past that, it's just
Wait till you see it.
don't
I
know.
really like the bit where they're on the roof of the casino and Elijah Wood has laid out in tape the layout of the apartment, and he's like,
Yeah.
"What's with that
Yes.
divot in the wall there?" It's like, "Oh, a bee flew near my face." It's like, "This took me 3 hours, by the way." It's like, "Well, it's Da Vinci-esque." You're a positive thinker, and I respect you, and I fucking dig you.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I like Cage's character because he's I put in my notes that when he shot the gun dealer, I said, "Whoa, Cage has bloodlust." And he's sort of quiet, sort of insane. You know?
He
He's
does
just-
have his
he's just-
moments, though.
He's just doing his job,
Yeah.
keeping the streets clear. Officer
Because I mean,
man.
yeah, I see where he's coming from. Because I've done that before at Best Buy, where I'm just like slamming people against the door, going, "Open it, open it, open it, open it, open it, open it, open it,
Open it, Donnie!
You just tried to grab the phone from me in a very suspicious manner. I'll give you $100. Okay.
Yes, I love that. I love that.
Yeah, the Elijah
He's
Wood
like-
investigates bit is wonderful.
True.
Yeah, she's like the woman he's talking to. I think she's like a government clerk.
Yeah,
I think.
because he was with floor
But-
plans. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's like she's really like I guess the word would be stalwart and like her morals.
Yeah, she's like, I heard nothing
no,
about this
that is not right.
investigation."
I have to report this. This is all fishy. I'm going to report this. I'm doing the right
And then
thing.
he
How about I
offers
give you
her
$100?
$100.
Okay. Yeah. Like, okay.
So,
I love that. I
price is
fucking
very
love
low.
it.
there's a lovely scheme
Yes.
about everything in this, you know, because you get all these streets things with all these fucking like 7-Elevens and shit and all these slums,
Yeah.
right? And I've been to Vegas like 20 times, I think, like at this point. So like I
Mhm.
really appreciated one that's not a commercial for casinos, you know, that's not
Yes.
glamorous.
Yes,
yeah.
it's
It's like
not like
it's like it's
and here's
filth,
the
and
strip.
it's not even
Next.
fun TV filth. It's just real life like dead bugs in a fluorescent
Yeah.
light bulb filth.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that's also what you get when you can't afford to shoot on the strip too,
So-
which is actually to a
yeah.
benefit.
Right. Well, yeah. No, it's true because otherwise you need the fucking you need fucking
Mhm.
product placement in there, you know, and that's how you end up
Right.
with
Yeah.
Cage's other fucking Vegas movies, fucking
Yes.
Next, fucking
Ugh.
Honeymoon in Vegas,
honeymoon.
and stupid
Well-
ass Con Air. The only other good Vegas movie Cage did was Leaving Las Vegas, and it's about him drinking himself to death.
Well, to be fair,
Yeah.
you can't really shoot in Vegas without Martin Scorsese going, like, that's mine.
That's mine. Yeah. No, back off. I'm going to tell you
What are
about
you
Victoria de Sica. No, it's beautiful. Yeah. My voice, Italy. That's what
Yeah,
this
I
movie
don't know.
needed. Joe Pesci murdering a man with a pen.
Oh Jesus. Think I'm a fucking clown?
You make me pop your fucking eye out of your head for that piece of shit, Charlie M.
Well, I think that the movie is all about not trusting women.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
that's,
Even if the women work for the
that's our real
government.
wisdom is bros before hoes.
Yeah. Because all the clerk is crooked, I
Yeah.
guess, kind of, sort of, for at least $100.
Hey, that's $100.
then-
Doesn't make anybody change their moral compass right there.
Do you know how much government clerks get paid?
Yeah, seriously, yeah. Seriously. I worked for the state before, I know.
Yeah.
But also his wife leaves him.
Mhm.
Obviously there's something going on there.
I know
And-
this summer
The hooker's
going
not that
on.
great.
Yeah, hooker's
No.
not that
And
great.
she was fine with
And-
$40.
I mean,
There you go.
He trusts the woman that they chain up to the toilet, but as
She-
it turns out he really shouldn't have.
yeah.
Why
really
is
hate
that?
kind of sink
Why
they had
shouldn't
in
he
that
have
apartment. I
trusted
got one of
her?
those.
Oh yeah,
You
because
got the whole bit too. They
here-
have to get a minivan and an industrial drill that they have to order from Germany, which they have to get
Right.
up the stairs.
Yeah. They must be bank robbers. Cool.
It's cool, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, no, he's got a fucking German phrase book out, and he's at work when he's placing this call to Germany. It's like he's being all sneaky. Fucking Max von Sydow making him a jewel theft drill. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so spoiler at the end, then Elijah Wood's character shoots Cage because he thinks he's gonna kill him.
Mm-hmm.
Because Cage had a
And-
really cagey Cage moment before, and Elijah Wood got
Yeah.
really freaked out.
Yeah, he doesn't trust him.
Well, and he also told him to kill the girl in the shower.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he said to take care of her because she saw
She
his
saw
face.
yeah.
And
Should've taken care of
instead, already Elijah Wood like called the phone number for her so she could talk on the phone with who she said was her ex,
I
so
need to
he
talk
could
to my
go.
baby's daddy.
Yeah, so he could take care of her son. And then later that obviously comes to bite him in the ass because he shoots Cage. He takes the girl in, like he puts a hood over her head and puts her in the back of the van, and he's about to like drop her off somewhere.
Yeah, do what I say and you'll live, or whatever he said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then the vans close in on him and he gets shot in the face.
Yeah, the vans close in on him, and in front of him, he sees like an electrical company.
And it's the same
van,
phone
I
number that he
think.
dialed for the girl because it's still written on his hand.
And the guy opens that up, opens up the back of the van and shoots him in the fucking
Right as he's
head.
going
While
for his
he's trying-
badge, trying to
Yeah,
reveal
exactly.
that he
No,
was
I'm a
cop.
cop. Like, that's gonna
Yeah,
matter
he
at this
puts the
point.
See,
badge
that's the
on.
only thing I give that film credit for was I legitimately thought this was going to be like a fucking mafia hit with the drug kingpin people going after him, but no, they were on their own sting operation and he was killed by cops.
Oh, and I should also point at the fact that he even like put everything back.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
took the
totally
time
did.
to put everything back.
Yes, because he looked at all the shit that was there. There were like diamonds
Yeah.
and jewels and guns, and he was
You
saying
know, that
like
vault's,
he
that
doesn't want
vault's
to fuck
really
with
neat.
that.
It's like a 2001: A Space Odyssey moment, even though it's just a bunch of
Yeah.
polished laminate cabinets. It's really
spooky.
cool. It's spooky.
Which honestly,
It's
yeah,
spooky.
And then
I could-
as Cage is putting everything into the bags, Elijah Wood's sitting on the floor and he looks up at the hole that the drill made through the ceiling, and it's like a callback to the fucking mole under the tit.
yeah.
And what were you saying, Donnie?
I was just saying that was some moment I actually agreed with Elijah Wood, where it's like, okay, we're gonna steal $1 million+. Like, no, instead, this is like a death sentence. It's like
Yeah, 'cause
he knew
he's
taking that
thinking, like-
shit, they're gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was thinking like, okay, this is the mob or somebody
Yeah.
very powerful enough to have this shit. So let's fucking get rid
Yeah.
of it. Don't even touch it, and we'll be safe.
It's like it
Just
reminded me
pretend
of
it never
that.
happened.
It reminded me of that
Bless his
recent
heart.
movie, Hotel Artemis, with kind of a same premise.
Oh,
like they
yeah,
stole
yeah,
from
yeah.
Jeff Goldblum, and you shouldn't do that because holy shit.
I haven't been watching that because the preview image, one of the ladies looks like Medea from the Tyler Perry movies, so I go the other way. I avoid that sort of thing.
But it has Jodie Foster.
Jesus Christ, old Jodie Foster.
Oh, dude, you know
she
what else
is
I
not
watched?
looking good.
The other day, I fucking rewatched Mommy Dearest.
I love her.
Oh my god.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the best movie I've
Clean
ever
up this mess. How?
You will never win,
Figure it
Adrian.
out. Jesus
To my
Christ.
children, I leave nothing, and you knew why.
You spoiled everything, just like I spoiled you.
Telling this to Donnie, like my will is gonna say,
Tina,
Donnie, you get
me
nothing.
the axe.
You know why?
One of the
No
better
more
received
hanging.
John Waters films.
I went, on YouTube, they actually have, it's only the audio, but they actually have the episode of The Secret Storm, the soap opera that Joan Crawford covered for her daughter on. Yeah,
Isn't that
you can
lovely?
listen to that. Yeah. No, but I found interviews with stars from around the time that came out, because after the book came out and then after the film came out, a lot of people were just shitting on Christina Crawford, like, oh, you're just trying to cash in, your mother was a saint, you're a bitch. And then all these stars come forward. It's like, no, it turns out that Joan Crawford was a bitch. And I'm
Yeah.
June Allison. It's like, well, that's coming from June Allison. I guess Joan Crawford was a bitch.
Yeah.
But no, I'm joking. I love Jodie Foster. It's just because of how she acts. And now that she is in this age group, it just sounds like someone who has false teeth talking.
Donnie,
it just makes
you're
me
just
laugh
still
at
mad at
times.
her for not doing Hannibal because you wanted a scene of her having sex with Anthony Hopkins.
No.
Be real, Donnie. You wanted it to be true to the source material. You
I
wanted
would
to see
rather
trembling
have
Gary
the Hannibal
Oldman with his
movie we
face eaten off,
had
getting jerked off.
versus having Red Dragon and having to make Anthony Hopkins look young. Okay.
Yeah. It's dear
I
Red
love her,
Dragon.
but I'm
we
not-
already had Manhunter. Fuck off.
Yes
I
and
love
no.
her, but I'm not sure after like she's stood up for Mel Gibson so
Gibson,
many
yeah.
Oh,
times. It's
fuck
like, oh,
politics. Just enjoy the work these
It's
people
not
did,
about
unless they went and
politics.
molested
Let's
children.
let's not stick with the Me Too shit. Like
Oh my god, it's not about
everybody
the Me Too
in Hollywood is terrible and it's
Racism.
fine.
Oh,
Even Robert
Jesus.
Downey Jr., who everyone's giving a pass to, that guy did a lot of shit.
He said, well, he certainly said some shit he shouldn't have said.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
But he's
but
Iron
he was on a
Man.
lot of So anyway, back to the movie.
Back to the good stuff.
Hey, Linda. In the
What?
movie that we watched, the 2016 movie, The Trust, did anybody do your segment?
Oh, do you mean I want his clothes off? Clothes off. Boobs right out the gate.
There were
Bam!
nipples in this movie.
Boobs. There was a
There was
Wayne
whole
Doodle.
And a Wayne Doody.
Wow, it had everything.
Breast, tits, boobs, knuckles.
Do you remember on the schoolyard,
Yes.
some people would call them bazooms?
And a tallywhacker.
I call them
Two
jubblies.
bits.
Or jubbles.
Dong.
Yes, your dirty pillows are showing. Oh yeah, I okay, sorry to go off on the tangent again, but back when Donnie and I were like really, really, really little, and like
1994.
we were 1984, we were young enough to like still be taking baths together. I remember
1986.
2 weeks ago. Brush your VJ. Brush.
Carlo, Donnie's hogging the ducky. Damn it. No, but I remember asking our cousin Wendy, who like used to live with us, so she babysat us for a while, and I remember asking her why Donnie had what we called Grandpa Joe. And
what?
I didn't. And she told me that I used to have a wiener, but then Jason Voorhees came and chopped it off when I was younger.
Well, Linda, when you were born, you had a penis, but then God said, "I don't like you." No, I don't. And then Jesus.
We
took it
grew
back.
up. We grew up in a magical time, okay? Because our video store clerk told me at like 10 or 9 years old that I would love this movie because this girl, she takes a knife and she whacks off this guy's ding-a-ling. She was talking about I Spit on Your Fucking Grave and trying to get my parents to rent it to an under 10-year-old me.
For a 10-year-old.
I think you were even younger than that.
Yes.
Well, let me say this. I Spit on Your Grave, the 1977 one, is still more appropriate for children than anybody else than that 2010s version.
Yeah.
But I think I've got PTSD.
We all do.
I think like watching all the horror movies with Donnie gave me like
I don't know
legitimately
about you
gave
guys,
me
but
PTSD.
like the movies that I got traumatized by were all rated like PG.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, even God, I remember this still when our grandmother was babysitting us. I asked her if we could watch Poltergeist, and she had not
Jesus.
seen it.
Yeah.
And it got to the point when the guy's face started melting
Oh,
off. She's like,
yeah.
all right,
Yes.
fuck this. Like, oh, come on. We've seen it already. She's like, oh my God.
Then your grandma went and got a rosary.
Our cousin telling me that and like getting me to, because I was young and stupid, so I thought she was telling the truth, and I was like, "Oh my God, the horror
You
movies
thought
are
you really
real."
did have an axe wound down there.
He left me alive without a wiener.
She was horrible. She used to also try and tell us that rabbit shit on the ground was actually raisins, that you could pick them up and eat them. So,
I don't remember that.
yeah, this is why we don't talk to her anymore.
You're so
no,
dumb
we
you
don't
wouldn't
talk
know
to her anymore
rabbit
'cause
turds
she's
from
fucking
Rice
crazy.
Krispies.
Yeah.
She's a crazy anti-vaxxer, and now she's an
Yeah.
anti-masker.
I think you guys should divorce your cousin. I think you should just cut that one off of the tree there.
I kind of did.
Okay.
Well, speaking of
We
that,
don't talk to anti-vaxxer cousins.
Yeah.
She's all about Jesus now.
Oh, Donnie, did you get some cousin-style reviews?
Yes, I found some cousins, distant cousins, in fact, to give us some wonderful 1-star reviews.
You looked at that typing and calculated how many teeth they were missing?
Yeah, and this was kind of difficult because there were about 30% 1-star reviews. versus
Jesus.
25 5-star reviews. And of those reviews, a vast majority were simply waste of time. This sucks. I want my money back.
So
So
that's
I
it
had
for
to
them,
kind of
huh?
hunt these
Life is a
down.
lemon.
But
They were upset because it wasn't Con Air.
they actually were upset because they were expecting something good when you put these two together, apparently.
I'm gonna stand by it. I enjoyed it, so
Yeah, I still like it.
and
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did too.
But
I mean,
let's
it's
hear
not a great movie.
let's hear how they hated
but
it though. Like
it's
that'll be fun.
enjoyable.
Well, we'll start off with this movie is bad, pointless, without plot, slow, and generally not fun to see. Cage owes me for 2+ hours of lost time.
It's only 90 minutes long. How'd they calculate that?
Yeah.
Maybe it just
Did they
felt
watch all the
longer.
extras?
I mean, some
Impressive.
do. You know,
Impressive cast, depressing and odd storyline. I am not sure if the plot of the story requires one to chemically altered to watch it, but it is a waste of genuine talent and money. I would only suggest someone rent and watch this if your time means nothing to you. You can't get that time you spend with it back, and you will wish you could.
why are you putting value on your time like that? What's wrong with you?
Right?
Yeah, what the shit?
Every
It's like,
minute
don't
you
we
spend
all
watching
just-
The Trust is a minute you're not at work. It's beautiful.
It's like, don't we all just emotionless masturbate on the couch and just stare at our cats?
I mean, yeah.
No, I prefer staring out the window and crying while I do.
Wait, you gotta make sure the blinds are open and then a neighbor notices you so you can look them in the eye while you
Yes.
finish.
It's like, this is what it does me now. But next we had
It's even better if you could stare at their dog as they're walking.
What's the
Next
next
is-
one, Donnie?
terrible. Story has more plot holes than a screen door. Characters are poorly written and dialogue was awful. Nick Cage was like a caricature of himself, reminding me of someone in
is he
Saturday
not?
Night Live impersonating him. Trust me, you'll want 2 hours of your life back.
Apparently, that person never saw a Bad Lieutenant Protocol in New Orleans.
Well, apparently they all
Special
saw a
victims unit.
director's cut that we didn't get.
Yeah, they all saw a whole hour more than we did.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's two people that say they saw a 2-hour movie.
You know, the funny
But
thing is, I was just
finally,
watching
yeah.
Siskel and Ebert's worst of '98, and
Oh,
Ebert,
yeah.
Ebert named Armageddon the worst movie of '98.
Really?
Which which is, you know, and Armageddon's bad, but like, man, there's so much to choose from in '98. Like
But
Godzilla.
yeah, it's not that
But-
bad.
but-
It's not the. I wouldn't call it the worst.
But Gene Siskel's like, yeah, wasting nearly 2 hours on this, and Ebert's like, no, it was more than 2 hours.
Yeah.
So like Siskel's like downplaying it because that movie's fucking 2.5 hours.
And our
Not defending Michael
closer.
Bay. I'm just saying Siskel and Ebert. Are
No, Michael Bay lets the army do that.
clueless. Right.
This movie doesn't know what it wants to be. It starts out after an irrelevant and unnecessary opening sex scene as a comedic heist type movie. But once it gets rolling, we're not chuckling anymore. People are murdered. A young lady is captured and tied up. The story gets darker and darker.
Oh, a young lady.
In addition to being senseless, the ending, I suppose, is intended to be tragic. But instead, it's just dumb. I wonder about Nicolas Cage. He's a good actor, but apparently he'll take any gig, no matter how bad, just for the money.
You're just finding that out now.
He didn't see
I
Stolen,
know, we're kind of
or,
far into the game here.
Or that Chinese movie he made. Like, what the... It's really weird when people choose to come to these conclusions. It's like, you're not necessarily wrong, but this is the movie where you
No.
decide? This one? You know, like, he's doing cheap shit shot in fucking Canada, Australia, and Eastern Europe, and China, but this is the one that's beyond the pale. It's like, I didn't like this movie with, like, the characters in Las Vegas and stuff. I wanted it to be fun like Next, but it wasn't.
Well, it's
Next
things like this.
wasn't
that
fun.
make-
That's no way to treat a young lady. I dare say. You need to learn your manners, Mr. Cage.
Sweet Jesus.
I'm just, these people, their word choices, they're just forming in my head, and I wish they weren't.
Well, it's things like this that are kind of making me a little happier now with this pandemic and people having to stay stuck in home. Is that because Hollywood isn't able to push their usual shit out onto your brains in theaters, people are discovering other studios or companies out there making good fucking movies. Like, I never thought I would see people actually praising Studio A24 for a lot of their shit they've been making, but holy hell have they been making really good shit.
Yeah.
But people are starting to learn you don't need Hollywood, which some of us did find out beforehand, but it's kind of like being in high school when you're listening to one band and then suddenly they become popular and everyone's suddenly into them. It's like, I'm glad for this because Nick Cage is doing this. Like, you don't need to be part of the system to make good films. So I really do applaud him, even though most of his films kind of are in the shit category. I do applaud him for at least trying to go and do new stuff that actually has a chance of being an unsung gem.
Yeah, because of doing what he does, we're actually presented with the opportunity of something becoming good. Unlike a lot of other, like, higher paid actors who are just going to stick with, like, fucking whatever the fuck they're doing, fucking Sony movies and shit.
And that's why I don't like a lot of. That's why I don't like a lot of social media praise and Hollywood praise. Like, when you have the whole bullshit movement, rather, people like, oh my god, Leonardo has to get a fucking Oscar this time. It's gotta be his year. It's like, bitch, what about Michael Keaton? That guy is cool as fuck and deserves something.
If you've paid
and
attention,
he's gracefully lost. He
shit
gracefully is
won.
like, hey, I'm just here and happy.
Well, a lot of great actors never got an Oscar, and after a while you realize, like, oh, wait a minute, the Oscars don't matter. It's not. It is not something to hold up as the best shit ever. It's just whatever made the most sense to them in that particular year. Like Julia Roberts beating Ellen Burstyn. You know,
it was proven that, like, it's been proven, and they talked about it on what was it? Oh god damn it, what is it called? Anyway, it's. They talked about how it's who you know, and you have to run a campaign to get to win
the nominations are a very official thing, and everybody on the Academy are industry people, you know. So it is an industry sucking its own dick and patting itself on the back and trying to pretend to be more significant. And it's not like good movies never win or are never nominated. But, like, what wins is very much motivated by the moment, you know, and various other backdoor handshake shit.
People, like, especially the actors, they have to go around and, like, throw parties and hobnob and suck each other's dicks just so they can, like I said, they campaign to get the fucking award.
Which is why stuff like A Beautiful Mind and Titanic and Return to the King get Best Picture.
Fuck Titanic.
Fuck Titanic.
I hate that.
No, except for that moment where the guy falls onto the propeller. That's fucking amazing.
Yeah, but you know,
I mean,
just about
that's an
like
apt thing.
About
because
8
we
years
really
later,
are the
when
musicians
CGI
on the
improved.
Titanic playing as it's sinking, and we're reviewing Cage films.
Well, you know, like people at home, we're not only all about the Cage films. Just make sure that's clear.
It's been a pleasure serving with you guys.
Speaking of serving, you guys, what do we?
Can we talk about something?
Can we?
Serbian film?
Adrian?
What are we going to talk about?
I believe you had something for us.
Oh yeah, that's right. Everybody, we got a new segment. Everybody ready?
It's time.
Presenting.
I think so.
Yes.
Da-da-da. Sequel.
Return.
More harder.
I screwed it up.
Sequel return more harder.
We tried harder.
That was beautiful.
For sequel
I
thing.
screwed it up.
Because
That was absolutely
if
beautiful.
you own a title to a property and you want to make some money, you can sequel anything, including the trust. All right, who's got a sequel for me?
I do.
All right,
I'll go
Kristen,
first.
let's hear your sequel to the trust.
Okay, so Nick Cage was faking that he died.
Good Lord, it's diabolical.
Yes. So he comes back. Well, he doesn't come back because he wasn't dead in the first place. But he runs to Springfield and marries this lady, and she has 2 sons. I think their names are Todd and Ron, I believe. And he goes undercover as this. He turns his life around. He becomes born again, and he just lives his life out there with his family and his hapless neighbor.
Good Lord.
Yay!
Yeah, because he looks okay. Yeah, he looks like
What hath God wrought? Donnie, did you sequel the trust?
I did.
Okay, Kristen, you were done, right?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
With trust. Donnie, sequel
The
to Trust.
The sequel for me is called The Truss. Truss.
Oh shit!
It's got
Yes.
James Gandolfini and Cedric the Entertainer team up for a madcap dark comedy when two down-and-out loser crime scene evidence analysts discover a solid gold diamond-plated truss belonging to an LA drug queen played by Marissa Tomei.
Oh my
Hilarity
God.
and depravity ensues.
Oh dear God! All right, Linda, did you want to do yours before mine?
I didn't put as much thought into it as these guys
Well, let's hear
did.
it anyhow. Let's hear it anyhow.
Well, I'm thinking that like since it has such a tragic ending, like maybe we would have a prequel.
Okay, you go
But,
the prequel route. Okay.
That just doesn't seem as interesting.
It doesn't have to be interesting. Come on now.
So I guess we're going to have a sequel that follows the lady they chained up to the Tweety
Uh-huh.
and her organization. And her organization are they're not cops, they're not the mob, nothing like that. They are in fact aliens. And the vault that they broke into is their spaceship, and they came to Earth to get laid.
Oh.
And it's like a sequel to Earth Girls
Oh,
Are
it's like
Easy,
the
kind of.
alien.
Oh.
Yeah. And the whole reason that they have all those diamonds and gemstones in their vault is so that they can give them to woo women. And
Oh, they're not their
and,
exaltation
some men.
transference pills like in Barbarella?
Consider them woo.
Yes, love. And now their mission is to sex up the planet and in order to create a sort of hybrid between their race and the humans. And also they're gonna bring back Elijah Wood as a sort of Terminator figure, and he's gonna help them in their quest. But yeah, that's
Do you have a title for your sequel?
Nice.
I could come up with one.
Okay,
The
while you're
Trust.
doing that, let me read mine. All right, so
Oh, the
the
thrust.
thrust. Okay,
There you go.
sensing a theme. All right, so mine's another straight to video or streaming, whichever. Now Cage's face would be huge on the cover preview image, right? Like really prominent. The trouble is when you get to the actual movie, the only footage of Cage would be flashbacks to the Trust.
Oh.
This would be The Trust 2, Las Vegas Nights. So the plot is nearly identical, except none of that pesky humor's in there to get out of the way, okay? So we've got Matt Shively from Paranormal Activity 4 as a CSI with the LVPD, and his brother runs into trouble with his loan shark, and an older CSI played by Kevin Sorbo proposes a daring heist of a drug kingpin's yacht on Lake Mead. Now, this is a clue. Even though it's called Las Vegas Nights, most of it will not actually be shot anywhere near Vegas. Meanwhile, Cage's character has emerged from a coma at the hospital, but his face is mangled beyond all recognition. It conveniently got shot off. So we got Kane Hodder as the Cage, and he goes around in bandages,
Yes.
but the mustache is still showing. And this creepy ghostly figure, is going around killing minor hoods who stand in the way of the two daring heroes. But is he friend or foe? Watch and find out. It's
Friend or foe.
directed by Don Michael Paul, who did Jarhead 2 and Tremors 5.
Oh
I
shit!
kind of like your idea if Kane Hodder is blind, so he's just randomly killing people looking for Elijah Wood.
Die, Mike or Jay, or whichever one I'm currently stabbing. And in my version, the only returning cast member would be Stephen Williams, and we might have Jamie Kennedy as the drug kingpin.
Jesus.
Yes.
Because straight to video Loserville.
Yeah.
All right, people. That sequel return more harder.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel ready to face this off?
I'm ready to face that off.
Now, since it's this movie, is it face off or is it stash off?
There you go.
Well, not in mine. The stash stays.
All right, Donnie, who wears the stash in your version?
The only people that could pull this whole thing off. As Stone, we have Thomas Lennon playing Lieutenant Dangle. We have Waters,
Yes.
played by Cedric Yarberg, who's Deputy Jones. We have the woman, Carrie Kinney, Deputy Waggle. And big Irish guy is Carlos Alazro, Deputy Garcia.
Thank
It's
you.
911
like-
taking over the trust.
Alice Rocky or something. Yeah.
Yes, it's Alaroski. Alaroski?
As a rock.
We will just call him the majestic Carlos.
Carlos.
Nice.
But yeah, I just every
Yay.
time Nick Cage opened his mouth, I just kept thinking if he had shorts on, it would be Reno 911.
I didn't even think about that, but God, that's on the nose.
I like wearing my bike shorts because it makes me free like a cheetah.
Oh, hey, Kristen, didn't you have somebody from Broken Lizards Club on your?
No, the state, which was Thomas Lennon
Oh.
and Carrie Kinney Silver, and I forgot the other. But yeah, I had Kevin Allison on mine.
Oh, that's awesome.
What's-
On the Coffin Cast, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's awesome.
It was fun.
So,
Kristen, what's the face off?
oh, who's
alright.
my face off?
Yeah, what's your face off?
My face off. Okay, so for I don't remember names in movies very well sometimes. So
That's okay.
for whoever Elijah Wood was,
Right.
I
Waters.
picked Jesse Eisenberg
All
because I figured
Yeah,
that
okay.
nervous energy would fit
Yeah.
really well. For Stone, I picked Bill Murray.
Oh my gosh.
I think he
Yes.
could bring the gravitas that is needed.
Why is it so hard to find someone to split $1 million with you?
And then I only did the woman also, so
Okay.
I said Dakota Fanning just because.
Oh,
she was
okay.
kind of
All
a
right.
crackhead
Yeah.
normally.
Yeah.
So
That works.
Yeah,
It fits.
there's usually too many cast members to do them all. Otherwise, it's like you're casting the
Yeah.
Towering
Yeah.
Inferno or some shit. It's like,
Yeah.
and then Robert Wagner's in there, see, and Orenthal Simpson. And wait a minute, there was an attendant at the curb. He didn't speak, but we got to get a name for that. Ah, boy.
Well, who did
Yeah, I
you
mean,
have?
I only have 3 people in
What
mind.
3 people
Yeah.
do you have, Linda?
Well, I also have the director-writer,
Mhm.
and I chose Elijah Wood because I want to keep him in there, damn it.
Yeah.
And I want him to make this a horror movie. And for Stone, Cage's character, I have Kiefer Sutherland.
Yeah.
Kiefer! So he's going to keep that stash, too. And as Waters, as Elijah Wood's character, I have his counterpart, the only person who could replace him, Macaulay Culkin.
oh yes,
I thought for sure you were going to say Daniel Radcliffe. I thought for sure you were going there.
Actually, his
Oh,
name
yeah,
now.
that makes sense.
You
but-
should use his full new name since he had it changed. It's
No.
Macaulay Culkin.
That's right. That's right. You did that.
Yes.
is that
Boaty
legal? Like, did
McBoatface.
he legally
Yes,
change
yes,
it?
yes. He had people vote on it, and he went and did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's now Macaulay
I love him
Culkin
so
Oh,
Culkin.
God bless him. Yeah.
I love him.
So,
Um,
wait, well,
But also,
Oh, you had
I've
one
got
more?
the woman. I've
Oh, who's
I've
the woman?
replaced
Sorry.
with one of Elijah Wood's friends, Kelly Osbourne, because she's also a singer. So fuck it.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay. Well, all right. So, my version,
daddy's famous.
my version is written and directed by the Coen brothers.
Ooh.
M. Emmett Walsh is the dad. George Clooney is
Yes.
Cage, and
Okay.
Elijah Wood is Jonah Hill, and for the detective who likes to play Russian roulette, Justin Timberlake.
Jesus, I love it.
Yes.
I would
And
watch
for the
the
woman,
shit
we
out
could
of
do
that.
Frances
So would
McDormand.
I.
She's in all their movies anyway. It doesn't matter that she's
Yes.
like 60.
Naturally.
You know, if
Isn't
you
she married to one of
Yeah,
them?
yeah, she is.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Don't ask me
if you
which
really
one.
wanted to
Sorry, Donnie,
go
what?
like madcap comedy, you could have just cast either role of Stone and Waters as Robin Williams and Eddie Murphy. It just would have been amazing.
Yes. Oh, that would be awesome.
Oh my God, this Tabasco one is
So-
lemon. I can't be eating this.
Oh my god, that's where he's like, this tastes terrible. Bleh. Why did he
Yeah,
feel
he
uncomfortable with a bunch of strippers, but he was okay paying $40 for a
Because you
hooker?
can't touch the strippers, boy. It's just a tease. They're a bunch of cock teasers.
Yes, for those who haven't seen it, we should talk about the lemon scene.
Lemon party.
Yes, the lemon party.
Yeah, no, they're at the casino when Elijah Wood's really freaked out. It's when Cage is starting to unfold the plan, and he takes the lemons off of Elijah Wood's drink and puts Tabasco on him. And Elijah Wood's like, what are we in the 6th grade? I'm not going to eat this. And Cage eats his, and then at the end, Elijah Wood pretty much forgot, and he puts it in his mouth, he spits it out. He's like, what the fuck? That tastes good to you? And Cage is like, no, it doesn't.
No. It seems like a real setup dad joke.
Yeah, that's actually the one moment Cage's I really enjoyed, aside his frickin' montage, was him going, "Hey, I think we're being checked out by women." He's like, "No, we're not." And he goes, he goes to use the mouse spray and sprays it out. Oh.
Yes, that was precious.
There's so many
It also
little gems
reminded
in
me of
there.
a simpler time in school when we were told we can't use Banaka breath spray because people were getting high off it, apparently.
You can get high off of anything. There's no way you can ban all the shit and not get high. People used to get high off their mimeograph tests.
It was
I
funny
think people
because
used to use it like whippets.
yeah, it was funny because people were mad about that and said you can't use that, but they were totes okay with all of us picking these fucking flowers and sucking and chewing on the stems of these things like crap.
No, all the kids that suck on the flower. Yeah, no, it's really gross when you think about it. It's like,
dude, that was so good though.
It was. That was the shit until we found those frogs we started licking. But anyway,
then it got better.
Here comes Mr. Griffin. His chin looks like a balls.
Balls, people. Balls.
And then somebody in the neighborhood would come and look at us, and we'd be like, "What are you looking at, bitch?"
And then we found a dead body.
Yes.
Apparently,
does anybody have any Cagey
apparently,
wisdom?
while shooting this, they found a corpse on one of the lots they shot on.
There's some wisdom.
Yeah, that's in the IMDb trivia. Yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, they were in the backwood,
Shit.
Vegas. Vegas is not a nice town.
Yeah.
It's
No,
not to
it's
live
not.
in anyway. You could visit it and stay in certain areas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And God
You
help
only
you if
need
you're
2
dealing with
days in
somebody
Vegas.
who's from there.
Yeah.
Oh, we have family from there.
Exactly.
They know.
Look. We were talking earlier about the concept of the Karen. You know, the one who wants to speak with the manager.
Yeah.
I had a relative who lived in Vegas for a number of years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now y'all ready for wisdom?
Yeah.
Yes.
Adrian, what you got?
Learn to trust the guy who fucking digs you because positive thinking and bros before hoes.
Yes.
Yeah, he was a very
All right.
positive guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Donnie?
Next time, just steal the Coke from the engine.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean,
don't report it,
was
just
right
take it, you
there.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but instead he was like, "You're gonna file that as evidence, right?"
You guys,
Yes, Dave.
do you remember the 1992 Bad Lieutenant where they're going over the car and there are these people with their brains blown all over it, splattered. There's all these cops there,
Yeah.
and Keitel's in the back, and he puts the huge bag of fucking Coke into his jacket, and as he's standing up, he's already high, and it falls out, and the other cop sees it, and he's like, "Put it in evidence."
Oh,
I fucking love that movie so much.
Kristen, do you have any?
Yeah,
Wisdom?
give the hooker the extra $10 and maybe she'll be better next time.
yeah.
Dick.
That could have bought some baby formula.
Right? Or diapers?
Just think about it too. Hooker rates in Vegas might be like being a server in New
Really?
Mexico.
Right.
Maybe they
Yeah.
depend on those tips more. You know, don't be stingy.
Right.
Yeah,
And if
And
you
she'll
had
put
a
some more
problem,
into it next time.
yeah.
exactly. And if you had any problem with it, then how about filling out a suggestion card?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have survey cards just like they have the little calling collectible cards in Vegas.
He's
Right.
right there in her place. Don't wait till later. Tell her now. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's on your
exactly.
receipt. Just go
Say, "Hey,
online,
maybe
take a
next time."
survey,
Call the
let our
800 number.
manager know how we're doing.
Do you remember the Spark Cafe in downtown Olympia? We used to eat there all the time, and they used to always say
Yeah.
let us know how it was. They were really big into getting the
Now it's
feedback.
McMenamins, I think.
Right? No, exactly. Well, that's my point. It's they would always be really into getting the feedback, and I'd always tell them too. I wasn't shy about it. Well, fuck it, you asked. The eggs were always terrible, And they remained terrible until McMinions took over.
And they had a like a billboard that would say, I remember one time I said, "Food's so good you'll forget you're at the Spar."
Oh,
Oh, so good.
They knew. They
But-
knew.
yeah.
My wisdom was that most people can be bribed with $100. Lord knows I can.
Yeah.
And don't trust people you have handcuffed to a toilet. There.
Yeah.
At
If you
least
get
this
it, see a
wasn't
doctor and
Suicide
get rid of it,
Kings.
and don't trust Whitey.
Shit. Shinola.
I thought I lost you, boy.
So, I guess it's the time where I say, please listen, follow, rate, and review Cage's Kiss, especially on Apple Podcasts, and go over to Podchaser and help us out there. We'd really appreciate it. It certainly helps us immensely.
Podchaser.
check out our stuff. Podchaser!
Chaser.
You can check out our stuff on YouTube, and I feel like Podchaser should give us money for
Right?
But we want your YouTube
We even have a little
hits.
jingle
Like
for
and
them.
subscribe. You like button.
Yes, and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/CagesKiss. We're about to record a bonus for just for them, not you. But for $1 a month, you can join. You can hear these. You can hear us talk about how wonderful Elijah Wood and John Cusack
For the
were.
love of God, it's only $1.
Just a goddamn $1, you guys.
You know, when John Cusack
Be cheap.
first watched the movie Better Off Dead, he took Savage Steve Holland, the director, aside and said, "That was terrible. I will never trust you again. You were awful." And then he went and did 2 other movies with him.
Yeah.
So, for more information on that, join our Patreon. Remember, you could find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Cage's Kiss. Although, honestly, I'm more active on Twitter than the other two. You can also visit our website at cageskiss.com, where you can see all that awesome Adrian cage art and non-cage art by Adrian featured on there. You can also write to us at cageskiss@gmail.com. We love correspondence, so please feel free to. And while we're on the subject, I have to talk about my love and our love for
Pringles?
a certain special someone
Oh.
named Sunni from
Sunni.
Book of Lies.
Thanks, Sonny.
We love you so much.
I got your back. Ride or die.
And Sonny, I really appreciate you endorsing my Patreon.
Yes, you are amazing. We're a fan club. We love you. Listeners, if you haven't checked out Book of Lies yet, go do
Hey,
it
get
now.
on some Book of Lies right
fucking
now.
awesome.
Why are you
Yeah,
waiting?
do it. Well, wait for us. After this episode, do it. Do it. Also, check out my other show, Bedknobs and Broomflicks. That's BROOMFLICKS. We don't have the X at the end. We have licks because it's so much better.
Dicks.
We just covered the second book in the Throne of Glass series, Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas.
Sexy.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
That's
it
the
was.
19th
We
Witchcraft
called it
movie, right?
Knobs to Come.
There's the midnight hour.
Oh, Witchcraft is on our list of things to cover eventually. But,
You're in for it.
Adrian, what you got?
So you can find me online. There are other people called Leo the Fox, but I'm the best one. It's all lowercase and it's all run together. LEOTHEFOX. That's on DeviantArt. I put a lot of stuff on there, arts and stories, and I put a lot of other stuff onto my Patreon under the same thing. I'd like to thank Jacob for being my latest patron. If I could get more of you guys in on that, maybe I could quit this fuck awful job I'm on. Yeah.
Yay, Jacob.
Yeah. Super secret things are going on my Patreon, though. In fact, on my DA, I just dropped a teaser for the Patreon. You can check that out and see for free, which you could be getting for $1.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
Yep.
Donnie, what you got going on?
I am supporting our local artiste because I am going to have a pod thing coming out here hopefully next month. I keep saying that. But it's wisdom in the bottles full of rants, and we're going to be adding horror story readings as well as reviews and whatever the fuck I feel like doing.
You're smoking the pod thing.
Yeah. What? No. I'm also Unreal Goals on the Twitter and the boy who blew over on Pornhub. Please don't follow me there. And that's about all I got going on there.
If you can, please check out, and before I forget, go to podcastmagazine.com/hot50. And if you can vote for us and Broomflix too and Coffin Cast,
Please.
we would definitely, or Dispatches of Disassociation, we would definitely appreciate it. Let us know that you did on Twitter, and we'll give you an on-air shout out.
Help us to beat Joe Rogan. We're gunning for him.
Yes, please.
Yeah, fuck that guy. It's podcastmagazine.com/hot50. That's HOT, the number 5, the number 0. And okay, I got that out. So Kristen, please tell us about you.
You can find me on Coffincast or on Twitter at Coffincast with a capital C. Also, Dispatches of Disassociation, which Linda is also on, and it's very fun. Yeah, and you can find that one at D-Disassociation on Twitter. So that's it for me right now.
Yay! It's a lot of fun. It's a really good show, and I just have so much fun playing Lila. But
we
will
also
be hearing from.
Should mention at least, because you and I did get to have
yeah.
fun playing, that we had to play a small part in a thing being done by Cinema Recall of Night of the Living Dead radio drama. And you can find them on the Twitter.
Lady?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the operator.
You were pretty
got
freaking
like
awesome
2
on that.
whole lines.
Linda?
You had like, well, okay, maybe 3 or 4.
Can you
No, I
help
had
me
2
place
lines.
this
I
call?
recorded it.
Hello.
But yeah,
it's me.
It was fun. It was me you were looking for.
Yes. You started it.
Dude, I just watched Thank God It's Friday again, featuring the fucking Commodores.
Good God.
Oh Lord.
Nice.
And Jeff Goldblum, really early Jeff Goldblum there. Yes. Post Death Wish, pre The Fly. Yes.
What's going on, Linda? What
Is it pre Gina Davis?
Everything's pre.
what are we
You'll
doing
be
next
hearing
week?
from us next week. Well, shut up, Adrian, and I'll tell you.
You can't get him to shut up. He's been talking over everyone the whole damn episode.
You'll be hearing from us next week when we cover Dog Eat Dog,
Yay!
which you can
Yeah.
watch streaming free on Hoopla, which I believe you can get through to Hoopla. You can get it for free through your local library. And remember, reading is fundamental.
Yeah.
But also, you could buy it or rent it on Amazon or Redbox or any of the usual
Don't.
suspects.
Please don't.
Remember, Mother, movies are your best entertainment.
I almost said RedTube.
That's
find it on
my
Red-
Dog Eat Dog on RedTube is probably a very different movie.
Do not look up Dog Eat Dog
Already
on
doing
RedTube.
it.
The Cage one has a wonderful Willem Dafoe performance. Everybody should see that.
I'm sure that one does
Yeah,
too.
and we will.
You're trying to sequel Return More Harder Antichrist. With even more
Featuring
genital
my
mutilation.
And until then, Donnie killed a man.
What's that got to do with killing a man?
Peach. I could eat a peach for hours. Please.